Welcome to this evening's Sit With Me in Silence, the Spring Sounds of Silence. And thanks for joining me tonight. This is our fifth night out of 7, so there's just a few more evenings left. So I do appreciate everyone who's been joining, or if you've been able to even just join a few or watch them later. Thank you so much. I thought today we would start just with the chair. So we could bring our stool, or you might even just sit on like the end of a sturdy coffee table, just something that you can come and sit on. You can bring the feet maybe slightly apart, come to the front edge of your chair, and just bringing the hands behind to either the backrest of the chair, the seat of the chair. So I know everyone might have a different type of chair, so just wherever you can bring the hands behind, so that we can really get the shoulder bones rolling back and that lift through the front body. Can look up and open the throat. And we're trying to create that space in the abdomen for sitting, so that when we sit, we don't just start to compress and crunch down. In our sitting pose, we want to really keep the space from the navel up, the navel down. Almost feeling that when you press the sitting bones down, you feel a lift up, but at the same time, from the abdomen, you feel a release down. And how that action of the release down almost helps you lift up a little bit more. So you're pressing a little bit through the feet. We lift up through the sides, through the front body, through the spine, the front of the spine lifting. Then we bring the hands behind where you can, maybe easily bring your hands for your chair. Lifting up, you can look up again, coil the back ribs in. At the same time, try and move the shoulders away from the ears to look up, let the throat open. Bring the head back, we'll come forward. So I'm keeping my hands on the chair. As I come forward, the hands might start to come off the seat of the chair. You might be able to take hold of the backrest of your chair. Coming forward, not just to fall into the back, but let those front lower ribs lift up. So if I show from the side, so not just falling forward, those front lower ribs lift up, and as we're bringing that front sacrum forward, the head, chest, abdomen, and a leaning with the lower abdomen lifting up and back, the front lower ribs moving in. Feel the front of the sacrum moving into the body. The gaze becomes soft. And then as we come back, the shoulders going back, the sacrum still moving in, the kidneys moving in. Just bring the hands to rest on the thighs, pressing down a little bit, as if you were trying to create as much space as you could between the top of your thighs and the abdomen. And feel that lift up, let the chin come slightly towards the chest, with the bridge of the nose releasing down. To that balance on the sitting bones, front to back, side to side. We're able to elongate the spinal muscles, create equal space between each vertebra, and not just lengthen, maybe the lower or mid back, but all the way up into the upper back. The shoulder bones going back. From here, we can bring the hands to the heart. The thumbs at the base of the sternum, lifting from the base of the sternum up. The fingers together away from the chest. Just staying there a few breaths. And if you'd like, you can join me just chanting 3 Oms. We begin actually first with the silent Om within. On your exhalation, just feeling that Om internally, that silent vibration within. Maybe repeat that on your next exhalation again. Normal in-breath, and as you exhale, silent Om. And if you'd like to join me, as you let the head release to the heart, the gesture of the ego surrendering to the heart. And just let the hands rest, the head lift, the eyes open. And then we can roll the shoulders maybe a few times down the back. We'll bring the hands back to the heart and interlace the fingers, extend the palms forward. And then the next inhalation, extending the arms up. As we lift the arms up, don't let the abdomen and lower ribs go forward and the elbows bend. We're keeping the torso perpendicular to the floor, pressing through the feet, and really feeling the thigh bone plug into the hip socket. So you almost bring the tailbone under, stretching up through the inner arms. Really suck that skin muscle of the arm into the bone as we lift up. Let the chin lift a little bit to open the throat, and if it's all right on your neck, a nice arc to the neck to look up. Let the eyes gaze up and back, tailbone under slightly, press the sitting bones down. As we levelize the head, can bring the arms back. Change the interlace of the fingers. We extend the arms forward. And you may not be able to lift the arms up overhead. You might stay here if you're working with some neck, shoulder issues. You might need to keep the hands parallel to each other to raise the arms up, right? So choosing what's best for you. Really feel the inner outer heel, big and little toe mound, low press down. Let the toes lift here a little bit, and then lengthen and release back down. Pull the heels back towards you, and as you do so, you might feel the core muscles, deep core, stabilizing muscles engage a little bit. We lift up through the sides, extend the arms, feel that lift up. And then from the center of the armpit, I feel almost as if from the center of the armpit there's even more of a lift up. And at the same time, that release down, the same feeling that we had from the navel, that lift up, but also a feeling of movement down. And those opposite opposing actions hold us in center, feel stable, balanced, and then we can release the arms back. Just let the arms maybe swing a little bit. And then we'll add a little bit of a seated twist. So I'm going to turn here to my right, depending which way your camera is. I know in some it will be the left, for some it might be your right. So I'm bringing the hand behind, opposite hand to outer knee, press through the feet, the sitting bones down, lift up through the spine, begin to revolve. So we're trying to lengthen the spinal muscles. The twisting can be nice. It's not a sharp twist. It's just a really nice spiral from the base up. Can help loosen tightness in the hips and back, through the neck and shoulders, so that when you come to sit, You know, you've released some of that tension you've been holding maybe through the day. So look over your back shoulder and give a stretch to the neck. Maintaining that twist, look over the front shoulder, still press through the feet, try and bring that front shoulder blade in, move the back shoulder bone back more, as if you were trying to look over your own back, to your own back. You have to really bring the shoulder blade in. Let the head come back first and then release the body. We'll do that to the other side. So bringing the hand behind, opposite hand to knee. Pressing down through the feet, through the sitting bones, almost pull the heels back a little bit. So you feel that lower abdomen lift up and back. Ascend the spine. On the exhalation, begin to revolve. Let this right side here turn the torso. Okay, this kind of drive the turn from this outer side. Keeping the shoulders level and releasing away from the ears. Really move that front shoulder bone in. And turn the head to look over the back shoulder. Maintaining that spiral. Turn the head to look over the front shoulder. Bringing that front shoulder blade in. Moving the back shoulder bone back. Release the head and then the torso, and roll the shoulders again just a little bit. And we'll just do another pose here, just opening the legs out a little bit. And we'll come down on one side, just open up through the sides here a little bit. So forearm to the thigh, and then we'll stretch the arm up and over. So for some people, it might feel better to sweep the arm in front and up. Okay. Press through the feet, open up through the inner legs, really stretch. I'm almost like a clamshell here, you know, a little bit that you're trying to open up. Can look down to release the neck. And then we'll come up and over to the other side. So again, if you need, you're sweeping the arm. If you can, you're stretching overhead. Press that bottom forearm down. So we're not just hanging in the arm and shoulder. We're creating that space, revolving here also. Okay. Looking up. Looking down, release the neck. Keep weight on that right sitting bone as much as the left, so both sitting bones. Look forward, and then we'll release, bring the legs together. We'll come up to standing. Keep the chair. We're going to bring the hands onto the seat of the chair, stepping back, really to stretch through the sides. Just doing a few more stretches tonight. It's Friday, maybe been a long week. We need to stretch a little more. Sorry, I just need to turn my heater off. We'll step back. Palms like they're kind of glued to the chair. Suction cup to the chair, stepping back. Can bend the knees. Lift the heels up and down a few times. Start to then straighten the legs, okay, by opening up the backs of the knees. So it's not just the hip lifting. We're opening up the backs of the legs. Bring those front ribs in. Look forward a little bit, okay. So we're not just hanging the head and then hanging in the neck and shoulders. Look forward a little bit and really extend the spine. Stretch through the sides, through the spine. And then we'll walk towards the chair and press to come up. Okay. So we come up to standing. If you're able to interlace the hands behind the back, if you find it difficult to interlace the hands behind, you might just take, a belt that you can take hold of behind. Okay, so if it bothers your shoulders or wrists, you're a little bit tighter, then you might need to just take the belt, okay? So I've got that belt and I'm trying to pull and break the belt and really roll the shoulder bones back. The mid buttock here is moving forward, front of the thigh bones moving back, and I'm trying to move the arms away from the back. Clear that flesh of the back armpit to the front. Feel the lift from the lower abdomen up. Roll the shoulder bones back. Try not to let the head either, go forward, but keep crown of the head over the pelvis. Crown of the head in line with the tailbone. And then we can release. If you've interlaced the fingers, then change the interlace of your fingers. Okay, that's the same thing. We're trying to move the arms away without just having the shoulder go forward, caving in into the chest. Okay, so there's that lift up, shoulder bones roll back. Extend the arms back, feel that stretch, the upper back, the shoulders. And then release the arms, shake the arms out a little bit. And then we'll move the chair to the side. We'll just do one last kind of nice chest opener before we come to sitting. I'm going to use a blue bolster. You might need, if you don't have a bolster, a couple of blankets or stacked blankets or pillow. I'm going to take another blanket from this half fold, and I'm going to fold it in half once more lengthwise. From that position, I'm going to roll the blanket. So then coming down, you might come to the bolster, then to the floor. Coming onto the elbows, lift the chest. So all that work we've just done, lift and open the chest. Move the tailbone towards the heels. The flesh from that upper buttock moving towards the heels. Releasing down, that rolled blanket supports the back of the head and neck. And then we wrap the upper arms so the shoulders are between the space of the bolster and the blanket. Okay, the shoulders are not cut here on your bolster. The shoulders that clear the bolster, that armpit clears the bolster, so we're getting that skin again from the back armpit coming to the front, that openness to the chest, can release the arms out to the side. Just stay a few breaths with the knees bent, feet on the floor. And separate the feet a little bit. Really feel the diaphragm spread and the abdomen release. And we'll extend the legs. And we'll just stay in this supported chest opener for 2 minutes. And then we'll come to sitting. So as I said, I'm taking just a little bit longer, doing a few extra stretches tonight. It being Friday, the brain might be fatigued, the body fatigued. So just giving body, breath, mind an opportunity to release excess tension, strain, or stress. And often people think they want to meditate to become less stressed, but it's very hard to just come and sit. We need to remove the tension from the body, remove the excess stress. The asanas can help, the pranayama. So those stages come first before we get to kind of withdrawing the senses, bringing the mind to that concentrated state, and then to meditation. So give the body an opportunity to release completely the breath, kind of clear away tight areas, and the mind to become more stable and still so that it won't be easily distracted when we come to sitting. What's the feeling as if the mind was descending downward to the heart? If you imagine the mind, residing in the brain, that we're letting that release down and permeate through the body, so that there really isn't a difference where the mind ends and the body begins. As Iyengar would talk about bringing the intelligence to each cell of your body. As you feel, envision the mind descending down, think of it moving to each and every cell. And staying a few breaths longer, bring your awareness to your breath. Feel the light touch of the breath, the inner chest on the inhalation. You might feel the exhalation from the diaphragm down into the abdomen. Gently start to coil the back ribs in. The eyes are closed, you can open the eyes. And the elbows, bring the arms in, bend the knees, bring the feet to the floor. You might take the hands and just help lift the head, re-engage the neck muscles, press through the arms, the hands, we come up to sitting. And then taking that seated position that will be most comfortable for you this evening, whether it's just coming up onto the bolster. Maybe go to the cross of the shins that doesn't feel as natural to begin with. Because we tend to often go to the same crossing, so changing that crossing. If you'd like, you can bring the blanket around the shins and maybe second blanket, and fold it on top of the thighs to rest the back of the arms. See that you're taking enough height to sit on that you can keep that space, that same feeling from the navel, that lift up, the navel that release down into the thighs towards the knees, that you're not kind of just falling in. That stable base. Come forward slightly. And then we'll take a few breaths as you move the top of the sacrum in. You may take the hands and move the flesh of the buttocks back. And then as you bring the shoulders back, the chin slightly down, so that the chin parallel to the floor, crown of the head parallel to the ceiling. So you let the gaze angle down to the floor. Relax the corners of the eyes. Closing the eyes from that top crease down. Bring a soft smile to the face, the corners of the mouth, so that as the face begins to relax and release, you continue to keep that inner smile. Tonight we'll try and sit just the 20 minutes. I will ring the bell at 10 just if you want to change the cross of the legs. It'll be very brief. At the beginning, those first few moments, we let the body settle. It settles down. We can take a few moments to orient ourselves to our purpose here. Those times come to your breath. Just bring your awareness to the breath. Begin to follow the breath. At the back of the armpit, release down from the back to the hips. From the armpit that's attached to, the part of the armpit attached to the arm, to the elbow. Feel that release almost anchoring you down through to the sitting bones. So that each inhalation can really lift and expand the chest. Mind starts to go away, looking for something to entertain itself. Just gently bring it back to following the breath. I often use something that Thich Nhat Hanh had said is when you're breathing in, you even say to yourself, breathing in, I know I am breathing in, and silently within. As you breathe out, silently breathing out, I know I am breathing out. And let us feel really present when we really connect to the action that's taking place. Breathing in, you know we're breathing in. Breathing out. Know that you're breathing out. And as you sit silently breathing, you hear another sound. That's my dog also breathing, but he's sleeping. So his breathing's a little erratic. We want ours to be more smooth, even breath in. The smooth, even breath out. Just allow the breath to flow effortlessly. You wonder how sitting, a seated practice, meditation practice can benefit us. Just calming the breath, bringing the breath to a more even state, elongating the breath can help to lower blood pressure, that release of tension, that equanimity within. Also gives us an opportunity to reflect and feel that sense of gratitude for all that we have, this opportunity to practice together. Online is a really fortunate thing. You can develop that gratitude for each breath. And when you feel that the silent observer, that you're almost a witness to your own body, breath, and mind, you may begin to be able to see things, feel things from another point of view. Sometimes when we're really stuck in, Prashant had said once, kind of stuck in the water, our point of view is really limited. But when we kind of lift it up, stepping back, we can begin to see things from a different point of view. Not necessarily attaching good or bad, right or wrong. Just a new perspective. you'd like to change the cross of your legs or change your position at all, you'd like to come to lie down, please make those adjustments so that you feel a sense of ease. It may not be that comfort of climbing into your bed at night, but that there's an ease in your body, an effortlessness to the breath. Sense of really being connected to your true self. We're comfortable in our own bodies. Even with the breath, don't let it be limited. We try to let it explore to its full potential, expand, and release. Turn in to watch the breath. Let the body restore, rejuvenate. In a book, In Love with the World, Rinpoche had said that recognizing impermanence corrects misconceptions of permanence. The process of dying and regeneration underlies the truth of impermanence. So if we even bring that to our breath, the inhalation might be seen as that regeneration, the exhalation, that process dying and releasing, it's that cycle. That things are always changing. Because things are always changing, our practice can help us be prepared, be present. Be in tune with our own thoughts, actions, speech. Here you're first welcome to sit longer. If you feel ready, you could bring one blanket down to the back of the head and neck. If your floor is cool, you might have wanted a blanket underneath you can lie on. Taking another blanket or towel, just opening it up a little bit more. You can wrap the lower legs. So keep the knees bent just a little bit. So you release down. You kind of wrap the lower legs so that when you extend out through the legs and let the legs release, they're kind of rolling into the blanket. It almost holds the legs more stable. Kind of they feel that they can release. You could bring your bolster just onto the torso lengthwise or across the top of the thighs, the pelvis. Let the shoulder blades move in from the upper tip to the lower tip. See that your shirt, skin spread even, so it's not crunched underneath you. The arms release, the palms soft. That release around the ankles and feet, the knees. As the shin bone, thigh bone releases to the floor, the skin muscles relax. Feel that release of the legs help to release the lower back to the hips. Spinal muscles. The upper back, down the backs of the arms. Releasing the chest, the front shoulder, down the front of the arms to the wrist and palms. As the front throat and jaw softens, the back of the neck, release, the eyes release. Really that withdrawing the sense organs inward, keeping those gates almost closed, that they turn inward. I'll leave you here for this evening in your Shavasana. Wish you a wonderful evening.